Okay, and we're on. Hello, welcome to Fiction Fight Club podcast. I'm Emperor Bugs, and this is my team right here. Introduce yourself, guys.
Hello, I'm Genos, and I'll be talking about my five favorite anime fights.
Hello, I am Monkey Boy, and I'll be talking about my five favorite anime manga fights.
It's your boy, the Salt King.
Okay, there. The Salt King. Okay, but anyways, I'll start us off here. Start us off with Joseph versus Cars. It's just a basic JoJo fight. Just got everything in it, and it's got the hilarious quips from Joseph. And it's just obviously a mad lad. You gotta have him in there. Go ahead, Genos.
So for my first fight, I got Luffy versus Katakuri. It was a awesome fight. It was really long, and there were like lots of interruptions in it, but you can find the full uncut version. And it basically just puts Luffy's ultimate willpower on display and shows that he's the captain that will never give up. And I just thought the moral to that fight was really cool, and the animation was pretty solid. So
Wait,
that's why it's on my top five favorite anime fights.
wait a second. That's your number five.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have to cut that out now.
That's your number five. I'm sad that that's your number five. I thought I thought you were gonna like have that higher up. Honestly, I'm just wow. That's higher up on my list personally. Okay, go ahead, Monkey Boy.
To keep with the JoJo trend, I'll probably have to go with Dio versus Jotaro. Mostly because that it's literally the culmination of the first three arcs, or at least story parts, in one big fight. And it's kind of a weird, kind of like a spiritual connection between Jotaro and Dio, because he's using the body of his grandfather to do battle with, and it's just one big little clusterfuck of ideology hidden behind all of it.
It's also a very good choice. I just personally prefer Joseph vs. Cars. It was my JoJo pick for the list.
Yeah, I just made that up on the spot and couldn't think of anything else.
Bastard not making a list. Seraph, King of
I
Salt.
won't get super in depth on my favorite fights until we hit to Hunter x Hunter, but for my fifth, I would easily have to say it's Obito and Kakashi, simply due to the just the meaning behind it, the flashbacks, the flash forwards, the constant cinematographic clips in it. The choreography alone is one of the top tier fights in the Naruto anime. It combines the badassery of Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance with a deep meaning backstory to it at the same time, and it's just easily my favorite fight alone in Naruto Shippuden.
Yeah, I'll have to agree there. That's honestly one of my favorite fights in Naruto. The choreography is amazing. The fighting's all
Oh, it's
perfect.
just absolutely disgusting in the most beautiful of manner.
I'm actually pretty sad I left it out of my list. Just thought this up
I
on the
got I
spot.
only got it at 5 because I feel like Naruto is just too overpicked.
Yeah, it's true. I only have one Naruto. Well, actually, I don't have any Naruto fights on my list. Wow, huh? Sad. Huh. Okay, well, moving on to
Back
number
to
4. I got Luffy versus Lucci, and there's not really a whole lot to say about this fight. This is just one of the best fights in One Piece history. If you don't love this fight, I got something wrong with you. It's probably the best choreography early on in One Piece for sure. Like, had that DBZ aesthetic feel, you know. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so for my number four, I got Jiren versus Goku, specifically Mastered Ultra Instinct versus Jiren. I thought this fight, like it didn't really have much morals and maybe not the emotional tension fight, but it absolutely made up for it with the animation and the fight choreography. Like it was pretty cool. There were a lot of great moments, and it was fast paced, very well animated, and it was just absolutely beautiful thing to watch. So I had to
Did he die?
The thing I do love about
I do think Doug died.
Did it say
Well,
it didn't record any of that?
Oh, it was pretty choppy, but then you just cut out. It didn't really.
yeah.
We weren't sure if you ended there.
Okay, that sucks.
We got the gist of that. Jiren versus Goku.
You can cut the rest.
Jiren versus Goku is definitely a good one. I enjoyed that.
Should I just redo it?
We'll have time. Yeah. Still early on in the video. Let's go ahead.
Okay, so my number 4 was Jiren vs. Goku because fuck's sakes.
Oh my god.
The fucking group chat distracted me. I'm muting.
Okay.
Fucking Tim.
Fuck. He could have just been in the call.
Should we invite him?
I already did. I could always.
Anyways, but my number 4 is Jiren vs. Goku because it had a beautiful animation. Fuck's sakes. Okay, you're gonna have to cut that out. My 4th fight was Jiren vs.
Oh my
Goku.
God.
Now you guys are talking.
Okay, everyone shut up. Okay, go.
Stop laughing.
Shut up. Okay, go.
Okay, my 4th fight was Goku vs. Jiren because it had beautiful animation, it had some pretty amazing fight choreography. Now, it didn't have too much emotional tension, which I usually love basing some of my fights on, my top picks, but, you know, despite the emotional tension that the fights that I usually like, it still absolutely made up for it in the animation and the fight quality, so that's why it's on my top 5 fights. So next up,
Go ahead, damn monkey boy.
Probably mine is probably going to be Cosmo Imai versus Akoya Saichu from Kengan Ashura. Mostly because it's an experienced fighter who is known for pretty much brutalizing criminals to savagely butchering them against a 19-year-old high school dropout, I believe he is. And it shows very much throughout the fight until pretty much Okoye becomes more like a senseless brute halfway through the match, and Cosmo actually gets knocked out by him, only to be woken back up and given a chance to fight back. And that's kind of screwed Okoye over, but how Cosmo won the fight was just pure underdog badassery, and the fact that he won and Okoye lost with a minimal injury is astounding. The fact that Imai could even walk after that fight was a miracle, more or less.
I have to say, before I get on to mine, that I agree with Kadoya 100%.
I wish I could add my own input.
That was a great fight. And like you said, as soon as Cosmo got knocked out, it was pure will that kept him going in that fight. And the way that according, what?
It wasn't actually more willpower that kept him awake. It was more that Okoye just wanted to torture the fuck out of him that kept him awake.
I gotta say, the beating he got from Okoye, just you gotta have some sort of willpower to get through that at 19 years old from like a way more experienced and way more just brutish fighter, more animalistic fighter.
Yeah.
And he was being held back by his little, I don't know what to call her, female friend, whatever she was to him. I don't think he gave two darns about her, honestly. But she was there to try to keep everybody else safe.
I feel like
my 4th one, and I feel like I have to pick this one simply because I specified part 2 favorite fight of Naruto. I guess I'm gonna go part 1 now. That'd be Team 7 versus Zabuza and Haku. This is the first real fight we got to see with them as a team, and you got to experience, you know, Naruto going animalistic for a little bit.
I did enjoy seeing Ninetales for the first time. Ninetales chakra, just fucking up Haku.
That's really all I got to say about that fight. My next couple fights I choose are going to be actually explained in depth because it's all Hunter x Hunter from here on out.
Even if we got the outlier light speed feats, but we'll not talk about that now.
Crystal Ice mirrors Haku's light speed.
You show light
Debate me about it.
bruh. Part 1 Naruto and Sasuke light speed.
Debate me about it.
It's nothing but facts. I don't need to debate that, obviously. But anyways, I'll move on to my number 3 pick. I got Aizen versus Ichigo. The final fight, obviously. The build up to it was just incredible. I liked how, well, I'm sure everyone obviously likes how epic this moment was when Ichigo just shows up at the battlefield. He's just like, hey, let's go somewhere else, and
Arms
just
him.
fucking chucks Aizen across the fucking city. Like, just yeet. Yeah, that was obviously have to add that fight. It's just the entire build up. And Aizen's obviously just one of the best characters in Bleach. So
Yeah, that fight in particular is quite the build up because you have all these captains, all these former captains, visors even, just going at him one on one, and that fucking absolute hypnosis bullshit is just a great example of hack versus raw.
and you just
And
have Ichigo, just like, yeah, let's go.
yep, and then that's like an example of how in fiction. That's a power ceiling, and that's breaking the power ceiling with the MC logic and everything.
That would be called plot new stupidity, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't even watch Bleach, but I seen Aizen versus Ichigo on YouTube, and I thought it was a pretty badass fight too.
Oh fuck yeah, that was one of my favorite Bleach fights, honestly. Like, of all, that's actually probably my favorite Bleach fight. The only other one that could even compare is probably like the original Ichigo versus Byakuya in the Soul Society. In my opinion, just meaningful wise. Go ahead. Whoever's
Okay, so at number 3, I got Gon versus P2. Now this wasn't much of a fight. Gon kind of mopped the floor with P2, but there were so many significant moments in this fight, such as Gon sacrificing so much just to win. He sacrificed his power. He didn't care if his life was lost in the process. He just wanted to beat P2 and get revenge for the death of his mentor, Kite. And I thought it was really cool when P2 revived and took his arm, and Gon said it was completely okay because he lost the same arm that P2 took off a Kite.
yeah, and then he
The fight just had a lot of significance, and it was actually quite well animated for time it was produced too. So, and like it was cool just seeing Gon become an adult, because we probably will never get to see Gon become an adult at this point. The writer of Hunter x Hunter being sick, so it was cool just to see that flash into the future and see what an adult Gon could do, and we got to see some of his untapped potential, which is absolutely incredible. I just thought it was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen.
I just
Can,
want
can,
to
can I
add
butt in
one.
1 second?
Wait, I just want
After
to
you-
add one thing to this. I personally loved how he took fucking his own arm and just, drilled it into Kade's body. Like, he took his own severed arm and he fucked that bitch up. Like, that was,
Here
Yeah,
we
that
go.
was
Here's
pretty
the-
hardcore.
that was
Your local
Oh.
Hunter x Hunter, dick rider. You're actually gonna not like me because I actually did not have that fight on my top 5 at all.
that was
Not even close. I
I don't-
had 2 more Hunter x Hunter fights, 3 more that I have above it.
That just means we cover more Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, we're gonna cover more Hunter x Hunter with any video I'm in. Period.
You hear that,
But
folks?
Kaguya on the-
Hunter. Go ahead, damn monkey boy.
Probably my next fight would probably be Joseph Gustav Newton versus the squad captains of the Annex Project. And holy shit! So the premise of this is that in the series Terraform Mars, humanity's gone to shit. They have to go to Mars, which is kind of ironic because that's borderline what we're doing right now in real life. And pretty much they send plants and cockroaches to Mars to spread cultivation related needs there. And so when humans visit it 500 years in the future or something like that, they check and see how well the progress is doing. Good news, it worked. Bad news, the cockroaches evolved into cockroach people and they want to kill us all. Yeah, yeah, and
What?
that's not even the half of it. Then, like 15 years after that, from the 2 people I think that survived that first expedition, they come back with 100 more people because now there is a plague on humanity. Again, ironic with today's current situation, and that originated from Mars. And so they had to gather samples from the cockroach and pretty much develop a cure for the plague. But after that, they come up with the Annex project, which was 100 exploration people go to Mars, get samples, come back. It was supposed to be that smooth. Well, not very. Anyways, out of the 100 people there, there's at least the top 10 because they have a rankings of 1 to 100. The top 10 are the top people, and I think 5 of those are captains, and each one of them has specific animalistic abilities. Like one has a Tasmanian crab abilities, where he has a hardened shell. He can regenerate his arm if it gets lost. There's another one from China. Yeah, the first guy was Russian. This guy is Chinese. Great martial artist too, and he has the blue ringed octopus, and he can regenerate as well, and he can poison anyone just by physical contact, which is a pretty neat thing. Then there's the Japanese captain, the head of the project, who is a Japanese killer hornet. She has these stingers on his forearms to jab you with high amounts of lethal poison that he says like one jab would be a death blow to a normal human. And the number one guy out of the 100 people is Joseph Gustavus. So he gets mind controlled, so to speak. And I told Logan about this the other night. But there's another person with this ability similar to the fungus that infects ants and turns them into zombies. He exists. There's a person with that kind of ability as well, and he controls Joseph. Like he's half conscious, half controlled, and he pretty much whoops everyone's ass. The people I told you about, the crab guy, the octopus guy, and the hornet guy, he starts whooping all their asses. And the funny thing is, he doesn't show off any of his superpowers either. He's just full on skill and a sword.
No, I'm gonna have to start watching this. This sounds like a good series.
The thing about that though is that that fight I don't think is animated yet. It's all in the manga right now.
Oh,
And
thank
what's
God.
bullshit is that it had to take outside interference to beat Joseph. And there's other bullshit along with that too. Is that the Hornet guy had to take the arm of a mantis cockroach. I'll probably explain that like in a different video, and bisected and dissected his Joseph's head. And when Joseph's family came to Mars, this series is trippy as hell if you try thinking too hard about it. And his family gather up his body, and during off-screen bullcrap, Joseph has the regenerative capabilities of the Planera, and he also has the electric abilities of an eel. And so when his family get his body, he's still alive. His head is off his shoulders and split in half, and he's still alive. And he's telling his family members, "Hey, put my head back together, otherwise it's gonna grow into more me's."
Oh my god.
What a flex.
This does sound like a great series. I gotta.
It really is. And the Animal Kingdom event that I have, I'm surprised no one's even bothering Terraform Mars people, because Joseph is like the best character used right now in my Animal Kingdom event.
Joseph. Oh my god, dude! I just realized I should have used cars. He's perfect. Oh my god, that'd have been perfect. Anyways, go ahead.
Now we
Seraph.
hit Hunter x Hunter. My third on my list, but my first Hunter x Hunter fight that I'm gonna be talking about is Gon and Hisoka in Heaven's Arena. It's the development for Gon at that point, because we remember back to the original first trials of the Hunter x Hunter exam, where Gon was like, "Hey, I don't want your badge. Take it back." And Hisoka just flattens him. Just flattens him. And says, "When you can punch me like that, I'll take it back." Gon's entire premises for going to the Heaven's Arena was to get stronger. Little did he know, Pedo the Clown was following him. And in the fight alone, Gon progresses so much in that single fight. He goes from just using brute force every single other fight to actually coming up with a strategy that lets him legitimately tag Hisoka. No bullcrap about it. He legitimately tagged Hisoka. He used the broken concrete tile as like a cover of sorts, and he really tagged Hisoka. He knocked Hisoka right the heck back. That right there, it's not deep emotionally or mentally, but it was a lot of physical growth for Gon at that point. That one punch to Hisoka, even though he got mollywopped the rest of the fight, that one punch to Hisoka mattered a lot more to Gon than it did to anybody else. Even most readers watching it probably wouldn't have even caught how much it meant to him. That's the only reason. I also liked Hisoka's face after he realized that Gon could tag him. Had a freaking orgasmic realization.
That was a great moment in Hunter
Yeah.
x Hunter, honestly. Yeah.
I agree. I thought Gon managed to tag Hisoka for the first time. It made for a great fight. Even though it was pretty one-sided, it just showed how Gon was progressing and evolving. And, yeah, it was really cool to see him implement a strategy with his stone table flip there. So that was the
And
beginning
go from
of...
just brute force. He actually implements a good strategy that lets him legitimately tag. Whether he tagged him or not doesn't mean that he's even close to Hisoka. Hisoka was terrifyingly stronger than Gon at that point. He still is. Unless he goes adult Gon, in which case he gets bent over. But at that point in time, the only way Gon was going to even touch him was pure strategy alone, which caught Hisoka off guard because he wasn't expecting an actual legitimate strategy from a freaking 12-year-old. But he got it, and that is why that is on my third fight.
This is just a random Hunter x Hunter mention, a moment that I really enjoyed. It was in the York, New York, when Kurapika just absolutely dog shits on fucking what's his name?
Yuvalgan?
Uvagan. I always forget his name. He's just after all the hype from him
Plot
taking out the
stupidity.
mafia members and stuff, and then Kurapika just comes in and just ends him.
I don't know, that fight was just...
Especially when they released the, what they call them? I forget what they called them.
The mafia shadow guys or whatever.
The Shadow Beast.
Yeah, Shadow Beast.
Yeah.
There
When
was,
they dropped, oh yeah, these are our elite squad of members. These are the most elite of elite. And Yuvalgan just, I do not need the rest of my body to kill you. I can just use my mouth.
Yeah, and then the rest get obliterated off screen. Yeah.
It was actually funny. That was the most overhyped group of anything
Ever.
in anime ever, and they just get completely mollywopped all over the place.
Yeah, off track a little bit, but Vogan biting that leech's skull off and spitting it at the other shadow member. That was incredible. That was just so
Pure
cool.
flex.
That's
That was a
actually
JoJo level of flex.
Yeah, just hold
Yeah,
up.
that was
I'm gonna kill this guy with your friend's skull.
what's actually impressive with that too is that logically, by Togashi's explanation of Nen and everything, that should not have passed through that dog guy's hand. Like he was focusing all of his Nen in his hand to block that skull shrapnel, and it still went through him. By Togashi's logic, that should not have happened. That should have been like throwing a rock at a pile of snow. It should have just hit and just like stopped there. But no, it went through.
Nothing is said in that.
So
Well, you gotta realize that Togashi is also the king of like underlying tones. It's all you gotta look at it and determine it yourself. And I think at that beginning they were trying to scale the Phantom Troop. That's why they hyped up the Shadow Beast so much. So, like the Shadow Beast is the elite of the elite. They get the job done and they get it done fast and efficiently. And they just get
here's
just bent
the
over
big-
and roll over the floor kicked.
The biggest problem
Oh,
with introducing Ugen as the physically strongest member out of the entire group is that he gets killed off immediately. He's the first member that gets killed off, and then now you're just left. Well, fuck. There goes every single bit of scaling later on in the series, because now you're
Well,
just
see, that's the thing is they had him as the physically strong. I forget. Do you guys remember who was second on the physical arm wrestling contest they had?
Wasn't it Phaeton?
Was it
It was
was
either
it Phaeton or
Phaeton
Hisoka?
Franklin. No,
I
it was
think
No.
Hisoka
Hisoka
was
was
number
third or fourth.
3.
yeah.
Uh,
Hisoka is 3, and Chrollo was like 4 or 5.
No,
I
Chrollo
don't
was
think,
7. No, Chrollo was 6, which is still amazing because Chrollo is the specialist and they are the weakest of the. They're the exact opposite of enhancers. They're the weakest. But to be rated a 6 on that is amazing for a specialist.
Okay, so I googled it. It's number 1 was Uvagan, number 2 is Finks, number 3 is Hisoka, and number 4 is Franklin, number 5 is Phaeton, number 6 is Maki, and Chrollo, and then everyone else is just pretty much irrelevant.
You got the random people.
Yeah, they're all irrelevant. I like Finks actually. Finks is pretty cool.
I like
but
the
the
dynamic that
Rhino-
Maki and Hisoka had up until, and you can't not be caught up at this point.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
no, shut up.
You can't not be caught up. You can't not be caught up. It's been on hiatus for like the past 3 years. You know what I mean?
His last chapter came out in the middle of my sophomore year of high school, I think, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't think he released another chapter after that.
No, he's still on hiatus. He came off a hiatus to redo the series and make the artistic side of it a little bit better last year on March, I think. But then he took another hiatus. So, here we are, another hiatus. But
Yeah,
what was the
but
topic?
anyways, I'll move on to my number 2. Yeah, we're getting vastly off track now. Togashi's on hiatus, and he's gonna be on hiatus for the next 20 years, guys.
I think One Piece will finish before Hunter x Hunter does.
Oh man, I was just gonna say that.
That's
never
that's
finished.
probably gonna happen, truly. But yeah, let's go to my number 2. Anyways, we got Majin Vegeta versus Goku, and there's also
Rematch.
not a lot to really say about this fight. Obviously, they just had enough build up through Dragon Ball Z. This fight was just the most hyped up thing in your entire childhood, obviously. Unless you didn't grow up with Dragon Ball Z. But I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
that
go ahead.
was that right? That fight was just pretty much the rematch for the century. That was probably the equivalent of probably the Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali of our childhood going to duke it out again.
Yeah, if they were in the same era. That was a bad analogy. They never fought. Silly monkey boy. It'd be like the Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. God.
Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, there we go.
That one's a bad one though, considering how many times Mayweather's won.
Yeah, but how hyped
We're
up it
gonna get way off
was.
top. We're gonna get way off topic if we start talking about boxing.
Yup. But yeah, I agree with that being a top 5 fight. Vegeta versus Goku in the rematch there. Majin Vegeta was actually, yeah, it was an incredible fight.
Yeah, we could always just lump it together with the first fight, but I preferred the second fight just because everything that went into it and the fact that Vegeta was basically being controlled and he was showing off how he actually felt, and he's just like, "Yep, I gotta get this guy. Yeah, fuck, gotta kill Kakarot." Anyways, I'm gonna add Timothy to the call. He's gonna catch up real quick. He's gonna have to list his own top 3.
Top 2, the top 3 is it?
And he's gonna do 5, 4, 3, and then he'll go
Yeah.
after.
This one's my second one, and the next one I have is probably going to be spent a little bit of time actually touching on why I like it so much.
Okay, I'm adding him now.
So
Lord Tim,
he's muted.
why are you muted, Tim? Lord
He's got to change
Primo.
the mic, that's the problem.
He says he doesn't have a mic. How do you not have a mic?
You can't talk through your
If he's
phone.
on his phone, well, he should be able to talk to his phone just fine, but he's got to change the way the voice comes to him. The sound is
Yeah.
whatever.
If he's doing it on his phone, he has to play around with echo quite a bit.
Unless he just doesn't have it on speaker.
Yeah, that's an option. He just puts headphones.
But while he's doing that, Genos, you touch on your second.
Okay, sounds good. So at number 2, I have Ocelot versus Thors from Vinland Saga. Now, this fight was really cool because we previously thought of Thors as a pacifist. Like, we knew he used to be a great warrior and he was hyped up to be a great warrior. But when we actually seen him fight, he demolished 2 crews of Vikings with his bare hands. Like, it was absolutely incredible. And one of them, who had eaten a berserker mushroom, which basically amps your physical stats up through the roof. And for a series where, you know, they're basically just human, possibly enhanced, you could argue for enhanced, it was really cool to see something on this level. Like, he was sending them flying across ships and into the ocean and stuff. And it was also a very emotional fight once he actually got to Ocelot, because he knew he had to either win or he had to purposely lose so they didn't kill his crew and his son, who had snuck aboard the previous arc. So, and just the fight itself, like, it was very strategic. We got to see Ocelot's potential. Like, he actually tagged Thor's pretty good with his sword, so but the cut was too shallow, so we didn't do too much damage to Thor's. But yeah, it basically just showed us what an absolute monster Thor's was. And you know, and then after that we see Ocelot just bodying people, and the fact that Thor's beat was pretty incredible. And we got to see what Thorfinn's potential was like. And that's about all I got on.
That's just another series that I need to get on to, Vinland. So.
Oh,
Absolutely.
How can we argue enhance when that
Keep
one guy
going.
straight knocked the plow horse 20 feet back?
Yeah, that sounds pretty enhanced to me.
That sounds
Yeah,
pretty enhanced.
well,
to me.
you know, most of them are human level, but you got a couple that you could put on enhanced.
I'd say knocking a 1,200-pound horse 20 feet back in the air is definitely enhanced.
Plus in a full gallop.
Yeah, like that thing had like everything going for it to just smack him down.
Not everybody's Thorkel, though.
That's true. He would pretty much shit stomp a lot of the people in the verse.
Oh,
Nice.
absolutely. Like, Thorkel's top 5 easy. Probably top 3.
The boy monkey though, it's you now.
That monkey boy.
You know, I just thought of one and I lost it at the same time.
Okay, well, I mean, you want to
Relatable.
just go back to you
Oh.
after?
Oh wait, I got one. Adam versus Zeus.
I can't wait for that to get animated. That's all I'm gonna say before you go ahead.
Wait, is it getting anime now?
I mean, I hope Record of Ragnarok gets animated one day. So
Oh, it
I
really
don't believe
should.
it ever will be.
it better be. Oh my god, the fights would be amazing.
Oh, I hope like Ufotable does those fights because holy crap, would those be beautiful! Like Demon Slayer, Fate, Stay Night, and Limited Blade work level of quality in just nothing but a tournament arc.
That'd be. Oh my god. Like it'd just be so beautiful to watch. I would love that. But anyways,
Let's
Relate-
see.
you want to talk
relatable.
about that?
Yeah, Adam versus Zeus. It's from the Record of Ragnarok series, and it's just more or less recent. I started reading it about a year ago, and for a while, I'm fairly certain I was the only person reading it for the longest time until I believe that they were characters from that series were starting to get used in debates more often, and uh, yeah. So it is the father of the gods versus the father of humanity, and man, it just brings up so much ideas of what it was supposed to be, which because what was it Brunhilde? Brunhilder?
Brunhild.
Yeah, Brunhild was selecting human fighters with crazy abilities to fight literal gods, and they had what was it? Shiva, I think was supposed to be Adam's opponent. Was it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Shiva, and then Zeus was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be fighting now, cause the last fight, I got my blood boiling."
Yeah. And
No,
so
was that why he fought, or did he fight because it was Adam?
No, that's why he fought. He wanted to. He got excited because he watched Zeus versus Lubu. Not
Thor
Zeus,
versus
not
Google?
Thor.
Thor.
Shut up.
Well,
I thought the symbolism was the entire reason he fought was because it was the father of humanity, and he just felt blighted by it, like slighted, not blighted, slighted by it.
He
Slade.
didn't see who it was until they started fighting. At least I think. And I'll have to go back
Which
and reread. I'm
No,
pretty
no,
sure.
it was called that it was Adam, and then he walked in in the hallway and interrupted the Indian god that I forget the name of, and I apologize to
Shiva.
anybody listening.
So yeah,
Who?
I can go. It's Shiva. I'll go fact
Shiva.
check
Yeah,
one second.
he interrupted Shiva in the middle of the hallway and said, "Hey, let me take this one over." And Shiva was like, "Get out of my way." He was like, "Hey, let me take this one over."
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I'm
I
pretty
think we're gonna
sure.
have to reread it.
I don't know. I'm checking right now, but I'm pretty sure it's just Zeus wanted to fight because he was excited
I would
about
double
the
check
last
because
fight.
I feel like they heard it was Adam, and then he stopped Shiva in the hallway and was like, "Yo, give me it."
But anyways, yeah, the father of the gods versus father of humanity, and it was such an interesting concept to throw in as the second fight of the entire tournament of Ragnarok, and it was just interesting because they explained how Valen are amps from the Valkyries that allow humans to be capable of competing against deities. And so Zeus, who normally is a small, scrawny old man that you think nothing of, suddenly burst out into a pile of muscle mass. He's pretty much like Broly's testicle or something like that.
Oh God,
Broly-
that's an image I did not need. That's these
and
legendary nuts.
Oh my god.
Fuck that.
That's the best way to describe it, though. Honestly.
yeah, and he's just looking at Adam, who I didn't think nothing of at first. Like you
Oh God,
are,
no.
no, you are not expecting anything from this scrawny little guy. He's got abs and everything, but that's about it. Then he gets his Voland, is a brass knuckles, and you're just not still not thinking about it. You're still thinking, oh, even with his amp, you're thinking, oh, this is gonna be a one-sided slaughter. The next thing you know, Adam is copying, duplicating, and dodging every single one of Zeus's attacks to the point where the author of the series is even timing how fast these attacks are, and then Adam is just blitzing and soloing it in return after copying all those skills and moves to the point that I think it was detailed as Zeus's second most powerful punch, or the one after. I think it's the second most powerful strike he had, and and I got an argument about this with Dalton and Tim about how Zeus stopped time, and then Adam copied that in return, and just as well mimicked the speed and velocity Zeus was traveling at to try to punch Adam's head off, and then incidentally, Adam corkscrewed Zeus's head backwards, and that was just hype.
That's
See,
definitely
that was one of
my
those fights
favorite
that
fight.
dang near put me off of the series. Like Adam outplayed Zeus at every single angle. Period. I mean, he outfought him. He outpowered him. He out techniqued him. He in every aspect beat
The
Zeus.
only thing that Zeus beat Adam at, even by his own words of it, is that he just outlived him. Because
Yeah,
his
he's a
diamond,
god.
his diamond form pretty much was,
He told him straight up, if you had lasted longer, I would have died.
yeah.
And I forget, didn't he say he was proud of him or some shit?
Yeah, that's the weird thing, though, is that the Father of the Gods technically won, but he admits defeat that he got his ass handed to him.
Because he
And-
did. He lost in every single aspect. I mean, in the story, the only thing he did, like you said, was outdurability him pretty much.
Yeah, and the thing is, and this kind of makes it a little obvious of what how the story might turn out to be. And I thought it was going to be ending up into a tiebreaker, so to speak, by the end of it, but if you are up to date with Record Ragnarok and the fight between Hercules and Jack the Ripper, you already know the outcome of that one. That's not going to end in a tiebreaker, which I was hoping for.
No, I actually liked that ending. I don't care what anybody says. No spoilers, but yeah, I loved that ending.
That was a great fight. I loved it.
I liked the outcome.
It was starting
Yeah, I
to
heard
drag
y'all
out,
saying the audience
but
liked the
there was
outcome, and I actually liked the outcome.
Yeah, and all these gods have like all these bullshit abilities and whatnot, but they still have the almost realistic aspect of being killed. Then there's Zeus, who's like, oh, my spine is probably shattered to pieces right now after that punch, but nope, I'm back.
Was Zeus by like what's the word of mouth feats in that series? Isn't he like high universal by word of mouth feats?
He's the god of the cosmos, I think.
He's at least
described him
Big
as.
Bang level, because he
Yeah,
saw
like
the Big Bang or something like that.
by feats, by statements, he is up there, boys. But on to my
by
second.
statements.
Wait,
Yeah, statements are bullshit.
I just want to say something. I just finished reading this chapter, and Zeus didn't want to fight Adam specifically. He was just his blood was just
Oh, did he
pumping.
not?
Yeah, he came
Love
up
it.
to Shiva in the back, and he's just like, "It's my turn now," and she was just like,
He
"What?"
was like, "No, you old man. It's
And then-
my turn now."
Yeah, just it's my turn now. It's my turn now. It's my turn now.
And then he was like, "Oh God."
I guess it's your turn now.
No, that's my bad. I thought he had wanted to fight him because he was. I don't know. The symbolism was kind of lost then.
No, he just wanted to get some action.
But on to my second, and this is where I'm going to start talking about the deeper meaning behind why I chose it. Netero and Medirium. Medirium? Medirium.
Merriwim.
No.
Merriwim.
I can't say it. The Ant Chimera King. Okay, you get what I'm saying now.
Yeah, Merriwim.
That fight, I don't care what you say, that fight, it just, everything screamed futility. Netero wasn't winning that. Period. It was shown from the get-go that he wasn't scratching the bottom of the ant's foot. Not one time in that fight did you feel like Netero had a chance. But to Netero, that was the greatest fight of his life. He had went from being rusty, out of training, slapping Pitou away, and then still going to train some more when he felt like he still wasn't strong enough. And even in the end, after everything he did to get better and get back into his prime, Meruem still bent him over like a child. His greatest attack that he pre-planned just for the Ant King scuffed his armor. The futility of it all is the reason that I love Hunter x Hunter. You can't get a better strength system, in my opinion, than that.
Wait, can I just say that you're trying to say futility? Futility.
Yeah, that word. Oh god, there was a freaking internet. I just lagged so bad. Yeah, that word.
Yeah, futility.
He just that word of that fight, the despair that you feel as you watch it, as you read it, just slowly realizing that Netero's not gonna win. In the beginning, you want Netero to win, but as it goes, as you realize that Meruem is a computer at that point, he is a supercomputer analyzing everything Netero does and just tanking everything he can give with the most casual of ease. It just, you watch it with your heart in your throat, just knowing that the guy that you've seen from the very beginning as the most powerful hunter, just getting played with. All because the Ant King wanted to know his name.
Yeah,
He wasn't even being serious. He didn't even want to kill Netero. He wanted to keep him alive to know his name. Just to know that everything Netero dished out was to a held back Ant King, and he still was just unable to do anything. It's my favorite part. It's my second favorite fight of the entire series, and it would easily be number one if I wasn't such a fanboy of the one and number one.
So, I totally agree, though. That's a great fight. And just everything about it. It's a good fight.
Yeah, and it was, you really nailed the nail on the head there, because I felt like from the very beginning of that fight, too, that Netero just stood no chance, but, you know, he had to try his absolute best, and that's why he had the bomb planted inside him, too, is because I
knew
think
it, too.
deep in
The
his
bomb
mind
means
he
that
knew
he
he
knew
couldn't
it.
win. Yeah, he
Exactly. That is what makes the fight so beautiful. Netero knew he didn't stand a chance, but he
but
had
he
to
also
try.
knew he had to end the threat.
He had to try to end the. He felt. I feel like he personally felt that the bomb would end it. But what really ended it, what really killed Meruem off in the end, was his growing humanity. From I don't remember that one girl's name. Oh boy, I can't tell what. Oh,
Komugi.
God. Komugi. I can't tell if it was a boy or girl. Who knows
Yeah,
at this point.
Komugi.
But
Oh, it was definitely a girl.
Oh, yeah.
But his growing humanity after talking to her some is what killed him in the end.
That's
Yeah,
why-
and that's the beauty of Meruem's character, is that he's constantly evolving emotionally as well.
That's
That
why.
goes for all the royal guards.
That's why he's probably one of my favorite characters of all time. He's just a great villain.
Yeah, it's
On to
not
you.
too often that a villain is designed where if you put him in a room by himself with a baby for a day, he'll become a better person. This villain would just kill the baby, so it's really what I like about Meruem.
I agree. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to my number one pick. This is kind of a accumulation of picks. This is the Marineford War from One Piece. You know, there's just so many great moments. It's just a gigantic fight, basically. So I mean, there's not really one fight in that war that you can really choose from. So it's just non-stop action from the start. You can make it all pull together. Favorite moments are obviously, I think probably when Marco kicks Kizaru through a building. That's probably one of my favorite moments from that. And when Mihawk cuts the iceberg. You know, besides all the sad moments, those are just two of the hype moments that I liked. Anyone else like to put any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Actually,
absolutely. And like Akainu versus Whitebeard, that was intense. Like there was a lot of emotional capacity into that fight when Whitebeard thought about Ace dying before he landed that punch on Akainu that really hurt him and broke him up inside and down underground.
Oh,
That was a very powerful moment in anime, and I actually debated Whitebeard versus Akainu, but
man,
it was a little short, so I didn't.
when fucking Whitebeard just shows up behind Akainu, just bloodlusted, enraged from Ace's death. It's just so hype, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the only time in the entire series I think we've ever seen something remotely resemble fear in Akinu's face.
Oh man, he knew he was in for a beat down there. You know, he tried to swing back, but he got demolished. I don't know how
Yeah,
he
the
came back so quickly. Like I thought he was dead, and then he just comes back in the next couple panels, and we're like, wait, what? What do you
well,
mean?
that's good scaling for the admirals as well that he was able to tank an attack like that from Beard.
But still, he went flying down that cavern and everything too. It's just I don't understand how he made it back to the fight so fast, especially after getting like smashed around by Whitebeard. Like you'd think he'd at least be sore.
He's a monster.
That's for sure. Can't wait to see more Akainu in the future. And next number one. Next number one.
Okay, so number one, I have Genos versus not Genos, Saitama versus Boros.
Oh,
Now this kind of lacked in emotional capacity and whatnot, but I mean, come on, the animation it was absolutely insane, and it's the first time we've ever seen Saitama remotely pushed by an opponent. I mean, he still wasn't going all out. Boros even said in the end that he wasn't, but I mean, just to see Saitama get smacked around like that a little, like previously he was just one punching all his opponents, and you know, he seemed kind of despaired that he was so much stronger than everybody else, and then for Boros to come along, attack Earth there, and give Saitama somewhat of a worthy challenge, definitely interesting. And the animation, the fight choreography, I mean, seeing Saitama get kicked up to the moon like that, and then push up with all that force to get back to Earth, like it just gave you a little bit of a power scale for One Punch Man. And I mean, holy moly, like the end there when Boros uses Lapsing Star Roaring Canyon there. Canyon? Not canyon.
Canyon.
Anyways, but yes, I thought that was pretty crazy where Saitama overpowers that with Mirror Serious Punch and pretty much just the air off it. So I just thought as a whole that fight was an absolute masterpiece, and whoever animated that deserves a star.
I agree. I hope the next season of One Piece is animated by the same people. I hope we don't get Monster Garo ruined. Like the end fight for the Monster Association arc. That's gonna be amazing if they do it right. Like,
Ooh, yeah. Like seeing
oh my god.
even Geru versus the dog there, Cerberus, is that its name?
Uh, what's his name? What? Fuck. What is his? Overgrown Rover. Yeah.
Rover, that's what it is, yeah. Even that'll be pretty cool to see.
Oh, Orochi animated. I hope they don't ruin the next season. It's just,
I hope they don't either, but
you know, the
and
way
all we can is wait and see.
they've been ruining popular anime animations, so I'm not gonna hold my breath, but we can hope for the best. I do fully agree though. Boros for Saitama just has beautiful animation.
Yeah, like it's just so crisp. Uh, I can't think of any animation that compares except for uh, Jiren vs. Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku is animated by the same guy.
Like on that scale, yeah, the animation is just beautiful. There's some really good animation in Fate, though. I think Dad Monkey Boy would argue.
Yeah, Demon Slayer too.
Anyways, is that everything? Nobody else wants to add to Boros vs. Saitama?
I think you're crazy for saying that as your number one, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, I think you're crazy. One Punch Man doesn't have to be deep. It's just like people expect a deep. You don't need a deep story. It's just entertaining, you know.
Yeah, I kind of just appreciate One Punch Man is.
Yeah, Saitama is a super deep character when you think about it.
Oh, just the utter sense of despair that he feels from having to beat everybody in one punch. He doesn't want to beat everybody in one punch at all. He doesn't want that.
That's sad.
He wants to be challenged.
It's sad. Very sad.
And he's never been challenged. The
That's
closest
what I
he gets
love
to being
about that
challenged
fight,
is
though.
with Burroughs, and then he still demolishes him with little effort. And in the end, it's still just he's alone in the world as somebody who is without an equal. Nobody to challenge him. Nobody to liven his life. Everybody's weak to him.
It's very, very sad. Who's
It's on to you now,
next?
Genos.
That was his pick. It's
Oh, now it's on to you, that monkey boy.
I can talk now.
Yeah, finally. You're allowed to talk now. It's okay.
Well, you could have
Gotta
talked
give
that
you
whole
permission.
time, but I guess somebody doesn't like One Punch Man.
I mean, I do personally. I love how that is the final fight of the first season. I think there, of course, it's anime and manga difference, but I've collected the first 12 volumes of One Punch Man. At least the actual better art ones, not the web comic ones.
Oh, the
And
webcomics are amazing. Shut up.
and
Don't get me excited.
and I like One Punch Man. It's just One Punch Man and Black Clover I have a mixed relationship with because it's a personal thing. Tried getting my girlfriend into those. She wouldn't have it. We get into fights about it. Don't ask how or why, and then we get left on a sour note about the subject. And then not too long after that, she gets into them and says, "Hey, babe, have you tried this new stuff called One Punch Man and Black Clover?" I'm like,
Oh my god. I literally
Yeah.
got into the same argument with my girlfriend. Like, I was trying to get her to watch Demon Slayer with me. And, like, I didn't start Demon Slayer because I didn't want to watch it by myself. And fucking, like, a month later, I think. Yeah, a month
Oh
later, she
my
starts
God, yeah.
watching Demon Slayer. She's just like, hey, we should watch Demon Slayer with me. It's like, no!
You ruined your chance.
My-
Done. Go on.
my
No, I
my
don't
girlfriend
want-
was exactly the same way when I started reading Demon Slayer. Hey, babe, you should try this. You really love it. It's like Ruby but better. And then she's like, no, no, no. And then when she finally watches the anime, I was like, you right, you right.
Oh, yeah.
I give
I
her
know it's
so
off
much
track.
shit.
I know it's off track, but can we all just take a appreciate how well Demon Slayer is anime?
You totally cut out so hard there.
Yeah.
Oops. I know it's a little off track, but can we all just take a moment to appreciate how well animated Demon Slayer is?
Speaking
Never
of Demon
actually seen it.
Slayer, my number one will probably be, and it's kind of a cheat, is the Nagatuma Mountain Arc from Kimetsu no Yaiba, or otherwise known as Demon Slayer. And how can I explain this? Because it's like pretty much three different fight going on at the same exact time, and there's Inosuke versus the Father Spider, and that fight is both awesome, badass, and hilarious all at the same time because that fight was originally Chandro and Inosuke fighting the one spider father guy, except Inosuke was being a hard ass like, run, Gunpachiro, because he can't pronounce Crunchyroll, and
God.
and then he's like, "Leave this to me," and then he's like, "Come at me, motherfucker!" And then next thing you know, he gets swatted away like a fly. At least he does in the manga. I haven't watched the anime yet, but I've seen clips of the fights from that, and they're beautiful. Ufotable did that much of the manga justice. How they're gonna try doing the rest of it is a mystery. Then there's Zenetsu, or Zenetsu, however you like to pronounce his name, and we all know how much of a whiny little bitch he is, to the point where he gets in a point of asphyxiation because he's scared out of his he constantly scares the breath out of himself to pass out, and then he goes into a sleepwalking state where he can only perform the lightning slash or whatever it's called, and blitzes just about everything in the sight. So, and that is hilarious how he just is just sleepwalking the entire time. He's snoring while being a badass at the same time. And after that is Tanjiro and Nisco fighting the Lower Moon Demon 12. And I mostly love this arc in particular because it gets into detail about the lore and they explore it a little bit further. However, the arcs after that, they pretty much went downhill. So right now, I'm practically talking about the pinnacle of the series. And Tanjiro is pretty much the underdog. He's getting his ass kicked. His Black Blade gets destroyed, and his sister has to try helping him. And she's barely able to help. I mean, I think she discovers her blood demon technique, which is fire. She can burn things with it. She can somehow heal people with it. Don't try thinking that one through. And she helps. I can say that. And then Tanjiro discovers. Oh man, I can't really get much into this without spoiling, but he discovers the Breath of the Fire God dance, which was something that his father, his grandfather, his great grandfather, and pretty much every single male in his family and his generations have been taught to do such a dance, because there was actually a good reason for this too, and this is actually explained in the manga. And Tanjiro tries doing the first steps of the dance and almost kills the lower upper moon demon, Rai, I think her name is. And yeah, it's well animated from what I've seen. It's well done, well voice acted, and it's just very beautiful and very well done. The only problem is this goes back to one of my earlier other off the topic discussions we've had, is that I hate antagonists that suffer a blow only to survive it or to brush it off. And Rai is no exception. She even admits, "Oh, I let you cut me," even though her head is literally hanging by a thread connecting to her body, keeping her alive, and she survives. She's kicking Tanjiro's ass. But by this point, they also introduce the pillars, the insect pillar, Shinobu, and the water pillar, Giyu, or at least they explore Giyu a little bit more from when they introduced them earlier in the anime and manga. And they are just whooping ass. All the demons that Inosuke and Zenitsu are having problem. Well, not Zenitsu, passed out because he's slowly turning into a spider, but that's a different topic. And Shinobu just and the best part about the introducing Shinobu is that the entire series is telling you, hey, demon slayers need to chop off the demon's head to kill them. Shinobu, because of being a girl stereotype, she's physically weaker than a male to do that. However, she makes her katana a needle rather than an actual sword, and so she pierces a demon with a type of poison with her sword and kills them that way. And then there's Giyu, who uses one of his techniques that he developed himself, called Still, and it pretty much creates a little zone around him that no enemy can touch without getting shredded to bits, and pretty much makes Rai his bitch. And I just love how that both introduces other concepts for Demon Slayer while at the same time in the most badass ways imaginable. It's literally the definition of showing and not telling, which a lot of stories need to do. And that's my number one.
Yeah, and I actually did think it was really cool the way Nezuko and Tanjiro had the bond during that fight, and it kind of they worked together to try to take the upper or the lower moon out. I always forget his name, but
Rai.
and usually I don't really like that in anime or manga, where the power of friendship or the power of family. But the way Demon Slayer set that up, I really enjoyed, which is surprising.
The only problem is that, like I said, this is the pinnacle, and they kind of the author starts relying on that family connection more often later on down the line. And that's about as much as I can say without actually spoiling everything else after that.
I feel like
Yeah,
Demon Slayer's
exactly.
already been spoiled for me.
Oh, have you not seen that part?
Everything in Demon Slayer is spoiled for me. The ending spoiled for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's really popular and people post a lot of spoilers. So I was fortunate enough to have read the
I'm
manga before
surprised.
it.
I'm surprised that haha. I'm calling him haha because in Spanish, J's are H's, and at this point, that his spoiler post is a fucking joke. How and why he thought it was a cool idea to order the original Japanese manga imported from Japan and post of it is just ridiculous. That's just insulting. That's just ignorant, and I really want to punch him in the dick now.
Are you mad?
Yeah, yeah, it's the equivalent of how Forrest Washington, no reason at all, on opening weekend for Avengers Endgame, he spoiled it. He spoiled the ending. He spoiled who died. He's and I'm like, are you
It's
kidding?
been a year. You can say who died.
I think everybody already knew. This wasn't even a big deal to me.
It
I don't
was.
know. I
I
didn't
was
think. I thought it was
hoping
gonna be Hulk.
at the
Wait,
time. I
I
thought
always knew it was gonna be Iron Man. Always.
at the time I thought it was going to be Captain America because Chris Evans' contract was not being renewed, and there was no mention of Iron Man. Everyone was talking about everyone else not getting their contracts renewed except Iron Man or Robert Downey Jr., and no one expected him to die. I didn't expect him to die, but the fact that
You know,
Varys Washington spoiled that the literal next day after it came out, fuck him. He's
I don't
forever
want to
blocked.
sound like a know-it-all, but I kind of figured it would be to die because of the foreshadowing from the first Avengers, where Cap he would be the guy to not
Yeah,
lay down on the barbed
not
wire
lay
so
down
his
his life
friends
for
could get
it.
over it. I thought that was some foreshadowing, so I kind of like I don't want to sound like know-it-all, but I kind of thought Iron Man would die.
I don't think it was intended foreshadowing. I think it just kind of came to the point where like, oh shit, do you remember this?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
honestly, Iron Man has been going on for so long. Even the first movie, it's just Robert Downey's got to be getting tired of doing it.
Yeah, but
These actors don't love their roles as much as we love them and their roles.
I bet you Iron Man's
Yeah.
still gonna be back though.
I don't think so.
I don't think not as Robert Downey
Maybe
Jr.
as
as much as I
a
wish he would.
I think so.
maybe as like an AI in the suit, but that's it.
I don't know, I think it'll be RDG. Anyways, let's
But
go to your last
on to my number one.
It's already dragging on.
Here we go. Can anybody guess it? Doug will be the best one to guess it.
Batman.
It's an HXH fight, honestly.
I'm thinking, is it Sylvan Zeno versus Krollo?
No, but you got one of them right. Hisoka and Krollo.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, I should have obviously.
Here's
said
why. That fight has been fucking hyped since the beginning. That fight has been foreshadowed to happen. Hisoka's been having orgasms over it to happen from the beginning. That fight was wanted, it was asked for, it was hinted at, and it was given. And Krollo, the guy that, as you just said, that he's the Zeno Silva. That fight, he gave them a run for their money. I'm going to reference it because he gave them a run for their money. And Silva essentially said, "Hey, if you were trying to kill me, you would have killed me. Yeah, if you were trying to kill me, you would have killed me." That was no prep Krollo at all. But Krollo has the nin chain around his arm and has to get it exercised off and pretty much tells Hisoka, "Hey, I'll fight you if you help me get this off my chest." Yeah, I'll fight you. He gets it out. He gets exercised.
Totally just cut out there. What'd you say?
Seraph?
I
I think you did.
He was just getting into the juicy part.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Logan died there. Does anyone
That's
else want to
unfortunate.
finish talking about his pick?
The only thing I have a problem with it is that it's not a straight up fight. Like, we get to see what Krollo's really capable of, because he's the type of character that preps and readies himself for what's to come next, and that's pretty much all he did for that fight with Shalnarks, Nen, and that other guy, the short guy. Besides that, it was a pretty good fight. The only problem is I wish that was more of a going in depth a little more with a character and a group of bandits that we basically know nothing about.
Yeah, I thought Hisoka got kind of holed out of that fight. Like, Krollo had pretty much the entire series of Hunter x Hunter to prepare for that fight with Hisoka. And then he had it on his battleground, his place of choosing. And there was a controversy that one of his minions cut the bungee gum that Hisoka typically attaches to his back to get him out of trouble. So, I kind of wish it was a straight up fight, like a round counter kind of thing, but it was still a good fight, and Hisoka did put hands on him for a bit there, and it's kind of cool to see Hisoka actually lose it, put in a compromise position at the same time, because he was such a beast up to that point, where the only other person we've seen him into trouble is probably Castro, but he was still in full control of that fight as well. So it was good and bad.
Yeah, there's just audio problems with Seraph. He's gonna have to leave call and rejoin. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Where did I cut off at?
Where did you cut
You
off?
basically cut off when we were talking about Krollo having the Nen chain, and
Okay.
Hisoka was helping and chains off in exchange for a fight.
Okay, so forward onto that part. Okay, added on to that. After that, we've seen a Krollo with no prep take on Zeno and Silva with no prep, and give them a run for their money. And Silva say essentially, "Hey, if you were trying to kill me, you would have killed me." But Krollo gets the nin chains removed from around his heart, gets it exercised from out of his heart, and he just bye. Gotta go prep. Gotta go get ready for this. And do you know how many weeks he had prep Duggar Dalton? I don't think it ever stated it, but it was insinuated as a couple weeks, wasn't it?
It was a pretty good length of time. I can't remember what the exact period of time was, but I think it was around that range, 2 weeks. But another thing to take into consideration is that Crollo's a smart guy. He had been watching Hisoka from the beginning.
Well, he
So
knew
in
that
reality-
Hisoka wanted to fight him. He said that, hey, I'm getting kind of tired of you trying to chase and fight me.
Yeah,
He knew-
so
he
he
knew
really
Hisoka
had
wanted to
until the
fight him.
beginning of the series to prep for that fight.
And in the end, Hisoka still tagged him, still did good. Yeah, Hisoka got, bent over, mollywopped, and made a geek of. But you're talking about a guy that can take other nin abilities. And then with prep and a troop that's willing to die for him, what do you expect Hisoka to do? It's the way he held his own against somebody that without prep gave Zeno and Silver a one for their money, that if prepped up for that fight, I think he would have soloed them in a heartbeat if he had used the same tactic he used against Hisoka. That's just me, whatever, we can debate about that another day. It speaks volumes to Hisoka and just how strong he actually was, and to come back from the death only to become stronger. I mean, I am excited for what Hisoka, if Togashi ever continues the manga ever, I am excited for how Hisoka is going to evolve, because immediately after that fight, Hisoka went from, hey, I'm going to, just toy around with my opponents and give them a chance. He went from that to, hey, watch me smoke you in under a second. It's my favorite fight because it was so hyped up. It was like the Madara of Hunter x Hunter. You've been anticipating it from the beginning. The moment you heard about it, you were like, give me this fight. Give me Chrollo and Hisoka.
I can't wait for the rematch.
Oh, there's not going to be a rematch. It's going to be a slaughter fest. I hope. It's not going to be a slaughter fest. Chrollo's going to be prepping even more for it. Now especially and we can get into a debate of Chrollo's morality and his actual psyche and whether he cares about the troop or not, but he shed tears when Yuvagan died. So, with Hisoka going out and killing them all, it's going to be Kurapika, or Kurapika.
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 It's going to be him or Hisoka that kills him. I mean, and whichever one kills him is going to be mad at the other one. Because Hisoka told Machi, I'm coming for the troop. Let them know it's no longer on their terms, it's on my terms.
Okay, so that's
But-
it. Is that everything?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm going
Yeah.
to get on off.
Yeah, we're closing off. That's like almost an hour and 20 minutes, guys.
That was a fictional fight club podcast. Enjoy it.
Yeah. See you guys next time.
Wait, where's Tim at? Oh, Tim wasn't talking. He
Yeah,
can't
no,
talk.
Tim left. He's gonna have to figure something out if he wants to join this.
Yeah,
so.
he needs to get his mic situation figured out.
Yeah.
Take it easy, y'all. Come on.
Okay.